Hi, Mike McCulley here at the Cariboo Fire Centre. I'm fortunate today to be joined by Rob Bardossy. Rob is the Senior Protection Officer in charge of aviation here in the Cariboo Fire Centre. Rob also acts in the role of Regional Wildfire Coordination Officer, a fairly stressful and responsible job. Rob's often in charge of calling a lot of the operational shots that go on here in the Cariboo. So, Rob, thanks for joining us. Maybe you could talk just a little bit about how you became engaged with the BC Wildfire Service and how you came to be here in the Cariboo.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Initially started with the, back then it was a protection program, Ministry of Forests, and 1994 started out on a unit crew, basically as a sawyer, assisting in suppression activities. Moved here to the Cariboo in 2004-2005 as the base manager for SIFAC, looking after all the initial attack resources. And in 2011, end of 2011, early 2012, was successful in getting the Senior Protection Officer Aviation job, which I'm currently filling right now.
Excellent. So, we know that this has been an extremely large and challenging fire season, probably the worst on record. In fact, we know that for sure. You've been here through all of it, Rob, working at the Fire Centre. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what that's been like in terms of sitting in the chair, the stresses that you go through each day, some of the rewards and challenges there.
It's it's a double-edged sword. At times you're real happy to be doing the job because it's a culmination of all your efforts to get to a certain position, a certain level of responsibility. So you're real happy about the recognition and the fact that confidence is being put in you to fill that position. At the same time, there's a lot of angst. Fire is a serious business. You're basically looking at the livelihoods of members of the community, the forest industry. You're potentially putting first responders in harm's way. So it's a pleasure, and at the same time, it's a bit of a fear.
Yeah, certainly. So, Rob, obviously you live here in and around Williams Lake. Can you maybe talk to us a little bit about what it was like, particularly in the early days when fire was raging all around your fire centre and your community was so heavily impacted? What's that like, both as a wildfire officer and also as a citizen of Williams Lake?
It was actually not too often I have fear. That initial day, July 7th, when things got started, was one of the first ones to get out in the helicopter to help assess and look at the fires. And just the sheer number of fire starts we got, unprecedented, overwhelming actually, just to see how much fire, how quickly they were spreading, and to know that it's right here in your community, at home. Initially the fires were right here at the airport. We evacuated the fire center. Wildwood community just behind us, there was fires in people's backyards. So very stressful to see potentially the devastation that's going to be occurring within your own city, within your own citizenship, right? Like it's a lot of times we travel afar to help people out, and when it's so close to home, it's a completely different feeling. It's you take personal ownership and you want to do as much as you can for your area, right?
Yeah, sure. So, Rob, I know that as one of the senior leaders here in the building, over the years, you've had the opportunity to work with and mentor many folks, myself being one of them over the years. Pretty fortunate to get to know you. Maybe talk just a little bit, if you could close off by telling us, about some of the pride that you have in the crews that work here, and how important that work is. I know you're a very strong leader. You help us all out every day. Maybe talk a little bit about how that feels at the end of the day.
It's proud to see everyone come together, whether it's the cleaning lady, whether it's the persons that are helping prepare the meals, to suppression crews, to basically members of the community volunteering to come up and work a checkpoint. To see everyone come together at a time of need is awesome. It really shows true spirit within the community, and I always judge, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up. And to see the community continually get up after wind event and after fires breach our guards, and we have a little bit of chaos on the fire lines, to see everyone regroup, come back in, pull together as a team, and basically paddling the canoe in the same direction, trying to accomplish the same goal. It's inspiring, really.
Yeah, excellent. Inspiring is a great word for it. So, listen, thank you, Rob. I guess I would say on behalf of all the crews, myself included, we were sure lucky to have you. I think the people of Williams Lake would feel the same. So, thanks for your work and appreciate it very much.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.